Welcome back, everyone. Next up, we have Cybernetic Technologies Limited. It trades on the OTC under the symbol HPIL and is a worldwide diversified company developing projects with cutting-edge technology. Please welcome its CEO, Stephen Brown. Welcome, Stephen.
Great. Thank you, Anna. Pleased to be here.
The floor is yours whenever you're ready, Stephen.
I'm ready right now. So first of all, thank you, everybody. I'm coming from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. If any of you have ever been here, it truly is the most beautiful place in North America, but that's my opinion only. So my name is Stephen Brown. I have actually taken the reins of HPIL, which was HPIL Holding, which is now Cybernetic Technologies. And I took over the company, which I won't go into too much how I got it, but I took over the company when it was pretty dead and dormant. It was under administration. I was able to take it over. It was, I think, under administration for a year and a half, and to put some of my technology concepts and ideas. I am predominantly from the entertainment business. Again, I won't ramble on too much, but to give you a little bit of my background, I've been in the entertainment business for close to 30 years, predominantly in the music and film industry. In the late 90s was my entry into the public arena of being the CEO of a public company. And I created a company called Entertainment Boulevard, and it traded under the symbol EBLD. Its platform, its name that we used was VidNet. It was vidnet.com. It was truly the first music video streaming company before YouTube, before all of the streaming platforms, to be honest with you. And matter of fact, in those days, you were able to only maybe get 15 frames per second to watch videos, which was stopping and starting, as many of you may remember. And then, of course, today it's high definition and all such. We were the provider of content for such companies as British Telecom, AltaVista, Lycos, Yahoo. My partners in the company were some of the major labels who provided some of the content for me, such as Sony, EMI Capital, who are equity shareholders. As I said, that was my first entry into the public market. I took over an existing empty shell that was ironically brought to me by a gentleman out of Vancouver, Canada. We at that time took it from 3 employees to 150 employees. We took it at one point to over a $500 million market cap. And raised close to $100 million predominantly on Wall Street. I think we raised $20 million approximately from Crutton and Roth Capital, which is now Roth Capital out of Newport Beach. So I'm very familiar with that. I've done those type of road shows and for Wall Street and all of the above. That went on through the early 2003, 2004. Clear Channel came along and bought the company. Also at that time, the bubble was bursting in the dot-com world, but very, very successful in that area. And I got my feet wet and learned some pretty good things about how to be the CEO of a public company. Many things have changed since then. I'd had been involved in one other public company, and I actually founded a company called Crank Media, which also trades on the OTC CRKM. That's my television film company that we have a staff of over 20 people that run that company. Myself, I'm still the CEO and chairman. So as I said, I've been able to take over this company with a few arms twisted because, it was in somewhat of a dormant situation. I brought in some different projects that I've been working on prior. One is the NFTs, entered into that market, and that was based solely because I have a lot of relationships, as I said, in the entertainment business. We now own over 95 NFT domains. Many of them were posted already, so I can say some of them, ranging from NFT Joe Biden to NFT Game of Thrones, NFT Marilyn Monroe, Bowie, on and on and on and on. And then the plan was to then, again, with relationships, go and acquire as much of those rights as I could from those particular, whether it be family estates or musicians that are still around, whatever the case may be. And that's what we're doing right now. We have already been able to put 8 of them together. We had joined the platform with Origin Protocol, which is a large platform for the NFTs. one of the people who was the co-founders, actually ironically is the co-founder of Akamai Technologies. And Akamai Technologies was the company that actually I was I think their first or second client. Now they're a multi-billion-dollar company that everybody uses for the platform, whether it be the NFL, the NBA, Fox News, NBC, whatever. And we were one of their premier clients during the .com days. What I will do then is I'm going to show you a short video, and then I can speak a little bit more on the projects over and above the NFTs. We have other things going on, which if you've followed HPIL at all, it's some pretty substantial stuff that I'd like to talk about. So I'm going to click on the video right now, which is only a few minutes long, and then I'll be back.
Hello, everyone. We are Cybernetic Technologies. Cybernetic Technologies Ltd. is a worldwide diversified company developing projects with cutting-edge technology. Whether it be electric vehicles or blockchain, we are focused on developing disruptive technologies and setting a course towards the future. Cybernetic Technologies is currently trading with the ticker HPIL. This ticker will be changed to CYBT once it's uplifted onto the OTCQB. Yesterday we closed at 0.0067, when a month ago it was trading at 0.0025. We plan to have the company uplifted as soon as possible, and then we'll set our sights on the Nasdaq. This goal will be helped along by our catalog of both short and long-term catalysts that we will discuss later. We have filed to get HPIL off the dark pinks, and this should come through fruition before the end of next week. This is all only possible thanks to the vision and wealth of experience brought along by our CEO, Stephen Brown, and our president, David Postula, backed by a top team of technicians, developers, and creatives. Currently, we have 3 subsidiaries, each with ongoing and exciting projects. First is NFT Procurement, a company that develops NFTs in partnership with celebrities in music, film, TV, and sports. With many partnerships in place and a long list of NFT.com domains, we are certain to be a substantial player in the NFT market. Next is World Gaming Group, a company that deals in the world of esports and gaming. Finally comes Apogee Dynamics, a company funded with the purpose of developing a disruptive battery power source that will only need utility-dependent charging for yearly diagnostic and repairs. Being able to self-charge the rest of the time while in use for such vehicles as automobiles, boats, and other forms of transportation, the first of which will be our flagship vehicle, the Apogee D7. Cybernetic Technologies, where the human element meets the futuristic mind.
So, as hopefully everybody got a little preview of what's going on, before I jump into a couple of the additional projects that we're working on, which is the Apogee and the World Gaming Group, I just wanted to give a little bit more of a better insight to where we're at, because as I've said, it's on the dark pinks. I have made all the appropriate filings with the OTC in late April. I've made the appropriate filings with FINRA because we will be doing a symbol change, and obviously we did the name change, but again, to bring everything compliant. I am banging on the doors of both of those entities on every couple of days. They're obviously way behind, but we're literally on the doorstep and feel extremely comfortable that we're literally days to maybe a week or so away from getting all the appropriate information updated on the OTC and getting us out of the dark pinks. That I can confirm has been done. We may get another review. I'm not sure from FINRA, but I think we provided everything that is necessary to resolve that issue. In regards to, I've already talked about the NFTs. I'm I'm pretty familiar with the gaming industry, to be honest with you, too. And that's why I brought in World Gaming, which is a partnership that I'd had for a couple of years prior to actually getting back into the public arena. We've developed some different technologies and projects. don't want to say too much about this, but both of my sons, who are 20 and 22 now, and one of them are professional gamers at a pretty high level worldwide. And I'm even looking to get a lot of information from them. But World Gaming has got a couple of things going on. It's going to be launching a gaming platform. Again, I can't talk too much about it because we haven't really announced too much about it, but it's to compete with certain platforms that are out there that the millions and millions and millions of gamers use. We are entering also into the market of social media, but within the gaming industry, the TikToks and the Trillers of the world. So we feel really good at what development's going on there with World Gaming. And again, hope to get some announcements out in the next 2 weeks at most. Okay, Apogee. Where do I start? So never thought I'd be in the powertrain, automobile, battery, electric vehicle world. I know how to sign a rock and roll band. I've done it many times. Don't know how to get an electric vehicle. Having said that, I was introduced to a gentleman who I think many have seen the resume, and I'm, again, not going to ramble on, but was involved in, sounds pretty crazy, but was involved in the developing technology for the B-2 bomber, worked in the Navy for the Industrial Science Department, and was introduced to me through a mutual, actually large HPIL shareholder who I didn't know until now. And I was able to take a meeting with this gentleman, LT Fortinian, who, again, if you read his resume, is been with Mensa for a long time, served in the Navy and the Marines, and was developed some pretty unique technology in regards to a battery / powertrain management system, and that's the best I can describe it. And you'll get much more from the announcements that hopefully can give a better perspective. And again, we're trying to hold the secret sauce, so to speak, of this because we're not quite ready to announce how this works. What I can say, again, without names, and I'm not doing this on purpose, we are in negotiations and conversations with some very, very, very reputable companies in that world, some of them out of Silicon Valley, that I think will really put this on the map, because I am not so naive to think that I could take this from point A to point Z and compete with the Teslas of the world. We need true partnerships. And that will be our best shot. And that is what we are doing right now. And I feel extremely positive. And a couple of things that just happened over the past few days that I'm hoping to announce again in the next 2 weeks in regards to that matter. It is a whole new world for me. So, if I'm not holding back information, I simply don't have the proper languages to pass on. Those will be passed on very, very shortly. I know what I'm doing, and that is I'm now going to support LT and his team that are in both Surrey, British Columbia, and also one of our locations is just outside of Seattle. And I'm going to support them on every level. And first and foremost, financially, I'm putting money in. We've also got all the relationships, as I was saying, that is going to enhance it considerably. That's really the best I can say. I don't do things haphazardly. I'm pretty calculated. I'm not always right, but I've done okay so far. So I'm in it, and that's the best I can say. And that's it. I mean, we are always looking at new projects, of which we are, again, we've got a couple that we're discussing, but nothing for sure. So I don't want to talk about it. But we are ongoing, is what I'm trying to say, looking at different ventures. And that was the whole purpose of HPIL, not to be in one specific. Although I do think this whole EV thing is going to be pretty dominating for our time and money. But again, we have other things going on too. That's it. I want to thank you. With HPIL, I do my monthly shareholders conference calls. So some of this may be a little repetitive. Yeah, so thank you very much. And I'm willing to take any any questions over the next 10 minutes or 12 minutes, which I have left.
All right. Thank you, Stephen. We do have some questions. So when do you plan to become current on the OTC markets?
Well, as I said, I've made all the appropriate filings. I filed them at the end of April between OTC and also with FINRA. I am speaking with them every few days. So I'm feeling pretty confident that we'll have it wrapped up and at least off of the pinks, off of the dark pinks onto the pinks. I'm really expecting by the end of next week. In regards to being completely current on the financials, and I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot to talk about that. This company had not filed its 10K since 2017, so I have 4 years. I was able to come to find out the previous auditors, which is MNP, out of Toronto, and they have offices here, but I'm dealing with Toronto. And they were the last auditing firm to file. So I've engaged them, and there's not much to really do, except you do have to file all the Qs, and you do have to file the K for 4 years, so it's time consuming. But as I just said earlier, the company for 1.5 years was under administration, so there wasn't anything going on. So we're going to get that done. I think, to be really honest with you, I think we're still upwards of 45 days away on the financial current where all the Qs and Ks are current. But in regards to the necessary information to take it off of the dark pinks onto the pinks, so we don't get caught up in the September potential slaughter with the OTC. I'm not sure if that'll happen. We're hoping by the end of next week.
Are you currently being audited?
Well, as I said, that's what we're doing. We're provided our information, but my most immediate is catching up with the previous 4 years. So we're doing both at the same time.
Okay. So who are your main competitors in this space, and what is your advantage?
In the electric vehicle phase, or which phase are you talking about? You're talking about NFTs? You're talking about the electric vehicles? Talking about the gaming world? Our toes are in every water in all three of those. I'll quickly take them one at a time. The NFTs, it's kind of like a blockchain and cryptocurrencies and stuff, and who knows how long that's going to go. I know I have the relationships, and I'm moving along as fast as possible. So that could be good for another month, and it could be good for another year. The gaming, on the other hand, is a whole different ball game. What I forgot to talk about also with the gaming, I've developed, and it's been now about 2 years, a currency, but it's a currency within just the industry. It's not like trading on an exchange. So we have Gamers Cash. So if you're playing a certain video game, you can win cash, and it's a token, but you must use that to purchase within that platform, whether it be equipment, T-shirts, whatever the case may be. In regards to the automobile electric vehicle, I need another 3 or 4 hours to explain that. So we're really doing what I just said earlier. I guess my advantage is the gentleman that has developed this, that has never been developed before. And it's easy to be a naysayer, as I was in the beginning, until I saw it with my own eyes. So I guess the best thing I have in regards to that is the gentleman who developed it.
Well, these are all questions from our viewers. So here's another one. You're obviously a successful disruptor. How disruptive is your potential EV technology?
We are going to turn it upside down. We're going to turn it upside down. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I've actually put this out in the previous conference call with HPIL. So how I'm developing the automobile is, it's not just obviously the battery powertrain and such that is being developed and being put together so that it can fit into the vehicles, any vehicle, not just our own vehicle. We are putting together it as a disruptive car. So we are bringing in 10 different disruptive companies. I'll just give you one example, and then you can read into the rest. So you may have a disruptive company, and I'm not saying this is the company, but it could be Pepsi-Cola, who want to take a small equity part in the car, and they've got their aluminum. They may take the colors of the car. It could be Spotify. It could be any of those disruptive technology companies that can play a role, and they will take equity positions in that vehicle. So my plan is to bring that vehicle in and don't hold me to it today, but we're looking to bring in the vehicle at a $10,000 purchase price because it will be subsidized by those 10 disruptive companies that will be equity owners in the car. That's the plan.
Talk about your 10 partners involved with the EV and possibly how many are confirmed.
I don't want to be evasive. I can't announce those. And I can tell you I have 4 confirmed. I can't say the names for the obvious reasons.
And what is your ownership percentage in the company?
So that's the mystery that everybody throws up. And I don't like to read the chat rooms, but I do once in a while, having a glass of wine at home because I got nothing else to do. I don't own any shares in Cybernetic Technologies right now. When I took over the company, I'll talk a little bit about this. There was some convertible notes in the company. And again, it was a dead as a doormat. I will get my shares properly when the company is ready to give them to me, which obviously I make that decision along with the board. But I am funding this myself. And I'll get my shares when it's right, when it's fair, when I've earned it.
So a viewer says, it sounds like you have a patent on the charging technology you plan to use in the EV. Is this true?
We don't have a full patent right now. No, we're in the middle of actually making some changes to what we necessary to secure a patent. We're not sure, and I think I can say this because I brought it up on the conference call. We're not sure, and this is a little bit of a game, and I think I was told only that Coca-Cola does this, and it's the secret sauce. I know they talk about the secret is spread among 10 different, or however many different people at Coca-Cola. If you don't actually fully patent it, and it's patent pending for 2 years, you never have to unveil your actual technology. So you renew the patent every 2 years, and nobody gets to it. The minute that this patent is out, I can't compete against Ford or whoever. So who knows what's going to happen. So those things are still going back and forth. Ironically, we're with our patent attorneys again tomorrow for these discussions. I will be updating everybody as soon as possible. I know that's a big thing right there. But the one thing I can say is I've seen technology that's not been used before. And we're going to handle it appropriately with the patent attorneys.
So where does the Crank virtual acquisition and letter of intent stand? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it's still open. I obviously am the chairman, CEO of the company. It's a strong possibility. It's still in discussions with the board. It's something that I feel strongly about. There is some legalese and there's some financial situations. I'm doing the best I can. And I'm moving as if it will be accomplished in a pretty short period of time.
So what is the company revenue source today? I think you answered that.
Yeah, 0.
Okay. So
it needs revenue from me.
Talk a little bit about some of your previous companies, the Wonderfilm Media Corp and Appreciated Holdings, Inc. Any comment on those?
Yeah. Geez, everybody does the research, don't they? So I'm actually British. I spent most of my time in England, moved to Canada when I was 16 and moved to America when I was 21 to be in the music business. I was a coffee boy at RCA Records, had a very successful record label for 18 years distributed through RCA, which then became BMG. I then went on to building the .com company. I sold my record label, and I've already explained what I did there. And that's all public knowledge that anybody can take a look at. I moved back to Vancouver, and I already told you how I feel about Vancouver. And I was introduced to a gentleman that had Wonderfilm. It was halted because it hadn't filed its financials. I won't go into the reasons, but I ended up taking it over and changing the name to Appreciated. I put all my assets in. I own a lot of intellectual properties within the entertainment industry. This is public knowledge. Basically, there was a hostile takeover because of some previous debtors. I walked away, left $1 million on the table in order to get all my assets back. And my assets are now in Crank Media, as I said, television, film, and music. It's public information. Anybody can check it out. I walked away from $1 million. And I started Crank Media in mid-December.
Well, so we're just moving forward with with your companies. Which industries of the ones you talked about do you plan on seeing revenue coming in first?
Well, NFTs could literally happen in the next 2 weeks because we're planning on launching some NFTs in the next couple of weeks. So that would be the quickest. We are quite far ahead on the gaming that I've not announced what we're doing, and I will be in the next few days to a week. And that has some pretty substantial revenues that I believe people will see. And again, I'll be announcing that shortly. So those two. The Apogee obviously is going to take a lot of money and time.
A question about the NFTs. Who are the 8 solidified NFTs? I
haven't announced them. I can't give them. There are 8 of the list that I've already publicly put out. I think I put out, when I put them out, we had about 70. We now are at about 95. So I will be making those announcements next week also.
Any closing remarks?
Yeah. Stay tuned. If you believe in me, based on my reputation, what I've done to then welcome aboard. If you don't, see you the next time around. Thank you very much.
It was a great presentation, Stephen. Thank you so much for your time. And we definitely look forward to all these updates.
Great, Anna. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody.
All right. All right, everyone. As we transition to the next presenter, remember, you'll see a black screen, but stay with us. We're coming back.